So I kept talking about rentals and buying rentals and where to find rentals and all this other stuff. But now you got your first rental. And I think this part's more important than actually buying the rental. I mean, it's equally as important, but you got to find a good tenant, right? And there's pretty much three main steps, right? You advertise, you screen, and then you just be a good landlord. Or if you're using property management, then you don't have to worry about any of that other than you have to find a good property manager, right? So let's say that you buy it and you're gonna be the landlord, okay? So number one, advertising, right? So there's different ways of advertising, and different ways of advertising work better for different locations, right? But you can post it on Craigslist, you can put it on Facebook, like Facebook Marketplace, you can share it on Facebook. Zillow, obviously, because that publishes to a lot of different places, or you could even use an agent. And if you use an agent, then they usually take half the first month's rent, and then the other agent takes the other half of the rent. So you pretty much lose a month's rent. But again, is one way of getting a tenant better? Is one tenant better than another? Usually not, right? Screening. This is probably the one most important thing. Every single time that I hear someone have a horror story with a terrible tenant, it's because they did not screen the tenant properly. And I can make a different video of how to actually screen a tenant properly, but literally this is the most important thing. Like, don't take the first clown that walks off the street and that says, oh yeah, I got this much money and I can pay this much. Don't. You gotta check everything, and I can go into detail about how to properly screen a tenant to make sure. And then even then, sometimes you can get a terrible tenant, but at least you know you did enough due diligence to make sure that you had the best opportunity to get a good tenant that you could. So the last thing is, once you do get that great tenant, you have to be a good landlord, right? You have to fix things when they break. You have to be nice, right? A lot of old, groggy men are landlords, right? So don't be that guy. No one likes you. There shouldn't be any reason anyone dislikes anyone in this whole operation, right? Just be nice to people and respond to them, right? If there's something that breaks, if it's their fault or your fault, or not your fault, but if it's just something that breaks with time, right? A wear item, right? Go and fix it right away, right? Or respond to them like, hey, sorry that broke. We'll get that fixed right out to you, right? Always just be nice and courteous, right? Pretend that you're offering a service and you want to offer them the best service possible, so you have the best tenants possible, and so they stay in your place as long as possible. So that's like the main things: advertising, screening, and just being a good landlord. For screening, there's a whole bunch of different ways to screen. Since I have a property management company, we do some different things that you may not have access to, but it pretty much gets you the same result at the end, right? So let me know if you have any questions, or if you want me to go in on further detail on any of those.